Hey everybody, Unstable Gamer here, and welcome to another Marvel Strike Force video. Now, this video, what I wanted to do was bring together everything that we know about Alliance Wars so far. So, a lot of this is stuff that a lot of people have covered in various different videos, and you can find it all over. But I wanted to bring everything back together because I think I've got like 4 or 5 videos that discuss little pieces of Alliance Wars. But again, I wanted to just bring everything together into one video and give you everything that we know about Alliance Wars right now. Starting next week, I think we're going to start getting some tips in our mail in the game. So we're going to take a look at what we've seen so far, what we've been told, what's been changed, because there's been a little bit of changes already so far with Alliance Wars. And then go ahead and wrap this video up, and hopefully this is helpful to everybody out there, and even those of you who are new to the game can get up to speed fairly quickly without trying to find a whole bunch of different videos out there on what Alliance Wars is specifically. So before we get into that, if you're just now finding this channel and you want to stay up to date with this and other games, consider hitting that subscribe button so you don't miss out. All right, and welcome back. All right, so first, before we get into the video here, there's 2 things that I want to point out. First, in the description of this video and all of my videos going forward, you're going to see that I have now opened a Patreon page. This is something that, if you so wish, you can contribute to the channel to help support it and help the content just keep coming. And anything and everything that is contributed through Patreon is strictly going back into the channel and nothing else 100%. So if you're interested, the link is in the description below. But absolutely no obligation whatsoever. I appreciate you stopping by and taking a look at the video, commenting with me, talking with me here and with my Discord. My Discord you'll find in the comment section below, or the description section below as well. All my social media there. Follow me on Twitter. Everything is in there in a nice, neat little package in the description. So, and if you do, back to the Patreon, if you do decide to contribute, thank you so much. I do appreciate it. There are different levels and benefits and rewards for the different levels in Patreon. And actually, you know, with that, if those levels are cool in what you're looking for and things that you would like to see, awesome, fantastic. But if there's other things you'd like to see as far as the different tiers of Patreon, definitely let me know. Send me a message on Discord, put a note on any of my videos, because I take a look at them and I try and respond to every comment there. So yeah, definitely let me know what you guys would like to see, and if it's something that I am able to do, I am more than happy to do that for you. So let's go ahead and get back to the video now. So back in October, there was a Polygon article, and I'll put all these links for all these web pages that I'm going to and talking to right now. I'll put those in the description below as well, just so you can go ahead and jump to each one of them. But this is a Polygon a Polygon article that was put out, and one of the first mentions, if not the first mention, of Alliance Wars. And to go through this, so Alliance Wars was a feature that they really wanted to incorporate into the launch of the game, but because of certain reasons they weren't able to, so it was something that needed to be pushed out. Largely in the game, really the only thing for alliances to do together, there's 2 things for alliances to do together and to contribute to in the game. 3 things, actually. So you have Stark Tech. Hopefully everybody is donating and helping their alliance with that. And then you also have raids, obviously running through the different raids and helping your alliance progress through the different raids. There's a ton of them out there with the different strike raids, your alpha, your beta, and your gamma, and then all the way up to your alpha 6. I mean, not alpha 6, but Ultimate 6. Ultimate 7 is coming. We just learned about that recently. So there's a lot of stuff to do there, but there's also milestones, alliance-specific milestones as well. So there's 3 different ways. This is another way for alliances to work together to really get some really cool rewards. Now, I'm not sure exactly what those rewards are, but I'm hoping, and I know that there's some beta testers out there who know kind of a little bit more about this, but you're going to be going head-to-head with another alliance and really battling each other on your helicarriers. This is a section of the article that's talking about Alliance Wars. So they're talking about their alliances work together to clear raids. It's a single social layer in an otherwise single player activity. But when you get into the specifics of the Alliance Wars, it's going to give every alliance access to a helicarrier that they can upgrade, make choices in, and ultimately defend. So this helicarrier, we are going to in some way be able to upgrade that and build it up, and then other people will attack that, and then we'll attack their helicarrier as well. They do give some instances here of some different rooms. So right here they talk about building up your helicarrier with the rest of your alliance. The med bay, for instance, could give a heal over time to your rosters or a flat health boost. We have some more detail on that we'll go over a little bit later. And it looks like there's 12 rooms in total, and each room is going to grant some sort of bonus. Now, the latest data mine that we went over details all 12 rooms and what those bonuses could be. Again, I will just put a disclaimer out there as far as data mines. Things can change on a dime with that, so just take anything that is mentioned in a data mine with a grain of salt until you actually see it in game. All right, so this was the first article. Started to mention a little bit about what Alliance Wars is. So let's go ahead and go into the first blog here. So this is the first developer update that talks about Alliance Wars. So that article was back in October. This right here was at the end of December, and it goes through a little bit of what Alliance Wars is. So what is Alliance Wars? We covered that essentially. It's alliances going head to head in helicarrier battles, and the objectives of Alliance Wars is to outscore your opponent. And it says that there is a 12-hour timer now in one of the QA mailbags. The 12-hour timer has been increased to a 24-hour timer. You'll see that here in just a little bit. Alliances score points by attacking the defenders in an enemy's helicarrier, so 1 point per knockout, and then as you destroy the rooms, you get 50 to 200 points per room. And then staging with your alliance will be key to success in Alliance Wars. So this is the first real strategic thing that we've heard about Alliance Wars. We knew, or we've been told, that there is going to be some strategizing, so not staging, but strategizing. It's going to be key to the success in Alliance Wars. So you'll need to formulate an offensive and defensive strategy. There's no single right way of doing so. Anticipate the actions of your opponents, plan feints, predict counters, and understand that every war will see new and innovative tactics emerge. How you and your alliance work and adapt together will ultimately determine who wins. So your helicarrier here, they talk about the med bay granting a 40% boost to defensive squads. We're going to jump to the latest data mine really quick. And here are the 12 different rooms. And in the med bay, as far as this goes, this data mine came out as of a week ago, plus 50% max health to all defensive squads. So there's been a little bit of change already with the med bay. So that's currently what we're looking at. And then the hangar applies speed up to some attackers. Again, back to the data mine here. As far as the hangar goes, speed up for 2 turns to 2 allies when attacking. So it sounds like 2 random allies are going to get speed up in the hangar. So back to here. So the rooms can be repositioned in different locations. So you're going to be able to move this. Obviously, I don't think it's going to be a straight line of 12 rooms. It may be some sort of pyramid type thing. So maybe in the very front of the helicarrier, you've got 1 or 2 rooms, and then you got 3 or 4 rooms, and you got 5 or 6, and then maybe you go back down to 2, and then back up to 3. So there's a ton of different configurations there, and you're going to be able to move these rooms around. It does mention here, it says, clever leaders will formulate their ideal defensive plan by finding the synergies between their alliance's collections and the helicarrier rooms, determining what you have, what your strengths are within your alliance, and how you want to position your rooms is going to be very key. So just kind of maybe one of the very first rooms that you put in the beginning, you want to put your absolute strongest character in to try and stall anybody else getting back. Now, obviously, you don't want to put everything to the forefront. You want to put gates for people to progress through and for you to challenge them, right? Maybe the strongest character goes in the center, or what the center might be of the helicarrier, based on some of what we know about the rooms. So if we go back to this data mine really quick, and we just take a look at, let's see, right here. So if we take a look at the armory, maybe the armory is the first room. You get a plus 25% to max health, damage, armor, resistance, and focus for your offensive squads. And maybe you put the bridge at the very front, or maybe the second room, because for 2 turns, you're going to get a counter for 2 allies defending this room. The barracks, you get plus 25% to max health, damage, armor resistance, and focus for a defensive squad. So maybe Maybe that's it. Maybe you put a defensive squad on the very front. Or maybe you put a full offensive squad in that first room, in that second room, wearing down opponents coming into that first room. Then you got a full defensive squad there to maybe mow them down. I don't know. It's really going to take some time, because as we work through this, as it's mentioned here in this blog, as we work through this, people are going to be figuring out different tactics, different configurations for the room. So every battle that you go into could be a little bit different. All right, so going on into your commands. So the Alliance's ability to command and coordinate your collective rosters is key to succeeding. Really, again, communicating. If you're not using Discord or Line or some sort of app or web page or some sort of program that allows you to communicate other than in-game chat, in-game chat is not going to be an effective way to communicate for Alliance Wars. I'm just saying. So definitely use some sort of communication tool that allows you guys to figure that out, to coordinate, to brainstorm, and figure out what works best for you, your Alliance, and your Alliance's rosters. All right, and each Alliance member has around a dozen attacks per war, and then players can heal defensive teams a limited number of times between enemy assaults using war heal currencies. So we know that there are war currencies that we're going to be able to get. And as we learned in the most recent data mine, which we'll go into a little bit later, once you purchase everything, all the supplies and everything for war, and war starts, you're not going to be able to repurchase or replenish your stock. So you're going to need to really go in there and say, all right, this is what I feel I'm going to need for war. And then once war starts, run through it. See how that works for you. If you have too much, then dial it down a little bit. If you don't have enough, you're going to need to make little tweaks here and there as you work through war each time it pops up. It does say here, ultimately, Alliance Wars will give commanders the opportunity to show off their creative application of their entire rosters, not just their strongest top 10. So you do want to make sure it's not just about strongest team. Early on, it was all about strongest team. Now it's not. It's more about your total collection power. But anyway, back to this. And then ready your Alliance. So as Strike Force players and the development team. So they're just talking about how they're excited to add another layer to the game for people to go ahead and jump into. And that's pretty much it. So this first one was just kind of give us a little bit of a taste of what to expect from Alliance Wars. And as you can see with the different rooms, things have changed slightly. So let's jump ahead a little bit here. So this is the January update, the Prelude to War. And this was all about the launch or the introduction of War Machine. Now, War Machine is the first character that was introduced into the game with one, I believe, the military trait, and also the a bonus when he goes into war. So what that is here, if we take a look at, where is it? Right here. So at level 4, his passive provides a 10% damage bonus in the upcoming Alliance War. So let's jump into the game really quick and take a look at War Machine. So his passive is integrated targeting, and at level 4, as you can see here, in war, gain plus 10% damage. He's an amazing character. I'm having a lot of fun with him. I've got a really cool blitz team that I use with him. So definitely, if you have him, get him up to level 4 and get him ready for war. He is meant for war. I mean, it's War Machine, for crying out loud. He's meant for war. So get him up there, get him in there, and you'll have some fun with him, I'm sure. All right, so that's what this post was all about. So it was also talking about, alongside Iron Man, he gains a 30% bonus. So wherever you put War Machine, you're going to want to have Iron Man, because together they are just, they're hell on wheels, I tell you. They do quite a bit of damage, and they're a lot of fun to play together. So that's me going into war. Wherever I put War Machine, I'm going to want to make sure that I have Iron Man there. All right, so that was the post that came out in January. Now this one here, this is a long one. This one came out in February 8th. This is right here, the 12-hour timer. So they got feedback that 12-hour timer was too much. And for those of us who have alliances all over the world, the 12-hour timer really is a pain in the butt. It is, especially if you're not making a career out of this game. It really is a pain. So they decided to go ahead and move that to a 24-hour timer, which was great. Go wild or well-rounded rosters. The gist of this is you're going to want to have a well-rounded roster. Right here, regardless of how many characters you have unlocked and leveled up, you can jump in and make an impact to war. It doesn't matter if you're new to the game. It doesn't matter if you're a seasoned veteran. You're going to be able to make some contribution to your alliance. And I hope everybody out there is really looking at contributing to their alliance, because if you don't, it just brings the alliance down. And this is something, again, I don't know what the rewards and stuff are, but this is something that you're gonna really want to focus on. I mean, this is alliance war. This is something that you're gonna want to work together on in order to progress, just like with raids. All right, alliance planning, coordinating with your alliance is going to be key. We've heard that many times. Again, communication. If you don't have some sort of communication channel like Discord or Line or something like that, make sure that you do. You do not want to rely on alliance chat. It's very inefficient. Setting up your defenses. So again, we've got 12 different rooms to defend on your helicarrier. Your alliance will need to decide where to place the rooms on your helicarrier, so we know that we're going to be able to set them up and configure them in different ways. And then if you choose not to place characters in the helicarrier, this is the first time it mentions it, they're going to put shield minions in there. Actually, I think they mentioned it earlier, that they're going to put shield minions in there, and then you can replace those shield minions with characters in your roster. And then you can place an entire team from your roster in the room, or just place a few characters to guard the room with the shield team. So you're going to be able to interchangeably put characters into a room that have shield minions and characters from your roster. So maybe you don't want to put, maybe there's a specific room that you only want to lightly defend, so that you can save characters in your roster to defend maybe the very front, or really stop a choke point for people, to really stop them from progressing through your helicarrier. So again, tactical choices, decisions, strategizing with your team, with your alliance is absolutely key. I know I sound like a broken record, and I'm absolutely sorry for that, but I mean, it's very strategic, it's very tactical. And then when deciding your defense, remember that the shield team has a default power of 13,000. That right there does not include your Stark tech. You have different room bonuses. I'm going to skip that because towards the end of this video, we're going to go over the different rooms. I've also got a video out there with the recent data mine that has it in there as well. But different rooms have different bonuses, and it says something right here: eliminating the med bay wipes out a global health boost, while blowing up the bridge grants a team 250 points. So what do you want to do? Do you want to wipe out the med bay to get rid of that health boost right away? Or do you want to go for the bridge and immediately get 250 points? Because it is a race. You want to beat the other team to the highest points, right? Whoever has the highest amount of points is going to win that war. With that being said, what works best for you? If you're beating a lower level team, or if you're going up against a lower level team, again, I don't know how that configuration works or what goes on, then maybe you just want to burst through and destroy rooms regardless of the order, so you can rack up the points and win. Or if it's a very intense battle, then you're going to want to make very strategic decisions on which rooms you destroy. Maybe destroying that med bay to get rid of that health boost makes other rooms easier to get through. So the heal mechanic here. This mechanic has gone through many iterations based on player feedback. Opinions around the original mechanic were split almost down the middle. Some liked it, some didn't. This was mainly due to the concern around how heals were implemented. So as it set a play style around having to wait around, constantly monitoring your team, and then jumping in fast enough to heal them so that they can survive the attack, healing only helps characters that survived battles. So you can't heal characters that are knocked out. That makes sense. We didn't like how this felt, but we did see a lot of opportunity for strategy based on alliances coordinating attacks to bring down strong enemy targets. We've adjusted the mechanics so you can boost a defense team before they get attacked, and then this should provide a better flow. So the heal mechanic, I really don't have much to say about that, only because once we get in there, we're going to really have a better understanding of that, right? But I do like this here. You can boost a defense team before they get attacked. And then the war store, just like Blitz Arena and Raids, we're going to have a war store that we're going to be able to purchase character shards that can only be found in the war store, along with orange, purple, and blue gear materials. So definitely the war store is going to have some cool stuff. So you're going to want to make sure that you're doing your alliance wars. You don't want to not do any part of this game because every single piece of this game gives you more in order to grow your roster, to strengthen your stealth, to strengthen your alliance. All right, and then the Q&A section here. All right, so as far as Alliance War seasons, they're going to be 2-week war seasons. This question here just talks about, let's see, first, maybe a suggestion really, can we get clear defense button? So to provide context to everyone here, setting up defenses is an important part of war, so we know that we're going to want to be able to and it's a major factor in strategy. One of the most common feedback notes we received was for a way for alliance leaders to clear bonuses in rooms in order to change their defensive strategy, especially when a player is unavailable to log in and do it themselves. Thanks to the feedback we received, we're looking to adding this as a quality of life feature into the mode soon. Let's see, are the strongest alliances always going to be getting the best rewards? One thing that I do hope is that as they're through the matchmaking process, they match the same strength alliances together, and you don't have like an Uber alliance matched with a new alliance, if you understand what I'm saying there. So it does say regardless of total collection and strongest team power, underdog alliances will have the same rewards for winning and losing as more powerful alliances do. There will be season rewards, but the bulk of the rewards will come from individual war earnings that can be spent in the war store. This doesn't really answer the question though. All right, so when is the full version of Alliance Wars expected to go live? They say that they're almost there. They say soon. They trademark soon. Again, that's funny. I'm guessing we're probably going to see War sometime towards the end of March. So currently we're in March. It's March 2nd. I'm assuming sometime towards the end of the month or sometime in April. We will see. I don't know for sure. All right, so if we don't consider defensive wins, how will ties be approached? Basically, ties are approached as both sides getting defeat rewards. What level of time commitment here? So they are saying that we expect war participation to be between 45 minutes and an hour a day after alliances have played a few times and settled into the groove. Now, on Reddit, the developers did jump on there and through some conversations and some questions. They did say that this is at the very beginning, 45 minutes to an hour in the beginning of war and really understanding. So they kind of updated what they were saying here. And then as you get more familiar with war and figure things out, and it becomes more like what we see in raids today or any other game mode today, once you're more familiar with it, then that time commitment, that 45 minutes to an hour, is really going to drastically decrease. So I can't remember what time they were saying, but maybe it's 20, 30 minutes. And then cheaters are going to be handled in the same way. There's no reason to have cheaters in the game. Nobody has any tolerance for them, the developers or the players, so they will be dealt with appropriately. Regarding the time to set up defenses, so defenses are meant to be set up when war is not running, and then there is going to be a short matchmaking phase where you're going to be locked out right before war starts. So you want to make sure that you get everything ready before that lockout period starts, because once that hits, you're not going to be able to do anything. Everything's done. Everything's set. Are any more controls for setting defense going to be added? For example, setting which players are in which rooms. So they've heard some feedback a lot during the playtest, and it's one of the new quality of life features that we're adding to the war. It will not be available during the initial launch of war. In the meantime, Alliance officers will be able to kick player defenses from a room, making it easier to adjust defenses, and then they plan to add more quality of life, that's the QOL, quality of life features, to setting defenses in future iterations of war. And then will alliances with members largely in similar time zones have a significant advantage? Again, going to the 24-hour timer is going to really address that concern. So I'm not overly concerned with the 24-hour timer. The raids work well, and as long as everybody works together and jumps into alliance wars like they do with raids, then it's not going to be an issue. With the 12-hour timer, it would have been, but the 24-hour timer, no. And then are you planning on augmenting any of the current roster of characters to war-specific buffs, like War Machine? So yes, they do have that planned. They do have this new military trait. We'll go ahead and take a look at the different military characters right now. So we have Captain America, War Machine, Winter Soldier, and Captain Marvel. Some people have asked why Punisher's not in there. They do address that in the newest in the newest developer update or blog or whatever you want to call it. All right, so they say, yep, additional bonuses to that character while they're in War. War Machine will be one of the first characters. How did you foresee individuals dividing their rosters up when designing the mode? Did you anticipate each player splitting half for attack, half defense? So basically, someone's asking a very strategic question to try and get some idea of what the developers' thoughts are behind getting War set up. So the goal was to create a system with a lot of different strategies, and so far we've seen that in the playtest, along with combinations and strategies we saw in our internal playtests. So they're excited to see how this expands when the mode releases, as new characters are added along the way. One interesting strategy that they saw was players using smaller squads of 1 to 3 characters to try and take out weaker opponents. In most cases, it was a high-risk, high-reward move that, if successful, allowed the Alliance to reserve other players for defense or attack, or extra attacks. It was pretty cool. So, essentially, right there, every person in your roster, every character in your roster is only allowed to be used once in the game. I believe that we touched on that just a little bit earlier. When you're looking at combining or looking at a room that has shield minions and a defensive team in there, so you got shield minions and some roster characters in there, maybe you're only going to want to bring a squad of stronger characters in there to just take that room out, so you don't have to use a full team of 5. In this case, you know, someone must have used 1 character to wipe a room out. So again, another strategic move in order to reserve the total number of characters in your roster so you can make as much progress through that war as possible. So something to consider. So that came out in February. All right, so that was February 8th. This new one is February 15th. This was just a quick little update coming soon from the developers, and basically the Alliance War update that they added here is that they're getting closer and closer to the launch of Alliance Wars. This week they're starting a new session for external playtests to kick off a new build. And this is cool. So the new build features updated art, bug fixes, and quality of life additions. So we have already heard about some of those quality of life or QOL additions, and then and updates to features that changed based on the feedback that we just went over, right? And then if you want to learn more about that, then here's the link which takes you to the Q&A mailbag that we just went over. All right, and then finally, the latest data mine that we looked at. So we were told that in Alliance Wars, there's 12 different rooms. And I believe there's 12 rooms here. So you've got Med Bay all the way down to the Science Lab. Knowing the different rooms and the different bonuses is really going to help you decide which configuration that you're going to need or you're going to want to try in Alliance Wars to really stop your opponent from progressing, from destroying different rooms to get more points and things like that, or debuffing your entire alliance here. We've got some pretty cool stuff. As we saw, the Med Bay gives plus 50% max health to all of your defensive squads. And then your bridge here gives counter for 2 turns. Let's see what else we have. You have the barracks that we talked about, 25% to health, damage, armor resistance for your defensive squads. Cargo bay area here, random positive effects. They're stackable for 2 turns to 2 allies defending the room. So there's some randomness there. And then we've got 3 rooms here that give bonuses to your defending teams. Again, to 2 allies defending those rooms. So a little bit of randomness here, but you got your deck 1, deck 2, and deck 3. And then your Science Lab here. So defense up for 2 turns to 2 allies defending adjacent rooms. So there are your different rooms. There are your different bonuses. I really wish we had some sort of map to understand how we might be able to move around some of these rooms, because we might be able to do a little bit of pre-work there. All right, so let's see. There's a room bonus down here. So room bonuses adjust the stats of attacking and defending characters in war. Destroy all of the defenders in a room to move the bonus. So I'm thinking they're talking about removing that bonus. So once you destroy that room, the bonus is gone for your opponent. And then here's a little bit about war supplies. It just talks about stocking up on your war supplies. Once you hit ready, you can't purchase more supplies during the war. So that was something I was talking about earlier. You're going to want to kind of figure out, what do you absolutely need during war? And then once you get through that one, did you have enough? Did you not have enough? Where do you need to make your adjustments? So there you go, everybody. The video probably ended up being a little bit longer than I wanted, but this is everything that we know about war. These are the different mailbags and articles and data mines that we've been able to find and put together and hopefully bring to you to be helpful. So I hope this helped in some way. And I'm going to put all the links to all the different articles and stuff down in the description so you can go ahead and take a look at it. Take some time to really digest it and figure out what you want to do. So there you go, everybody. That's what I had for you today. Just bringing everything we know about war from the different articles and QA mailbags and such and data mines, bringing everything into one location for you to go ahead and take a look at. As always, I truly appreciate you taking the time to watch the video. If you liked it, if it was entertaining, if it was educational at the least, please make sure to hit that like button and share your thoughts and questions in the comment section below. Take care, everyone, and we'll talk to you next time.